Let's welcome Lydia, everybody. Yay.
Thank you. So I know my parents have 2 daughters who are missionaries, and we can sometimes be confused. Totally fine. I just want to set it straight. Give you a little memory trick, so you can remember me, at least distinguishing from Anna. So as my parents had us, my sister probably was the loudest of all of us. I followed Anna, and I was probably the quietest. So that was a pretty drastic change for my parents, and so they even thought something might be wrong with me. They thought maybe I was blind, maybe I was deaf, or maybe I had a mental something. And so they took me to the doctor just to check, and the doctor said, "No, you just have a perfect baby." So how you can remember me from my sister is that I was a very calm and peaceful child, and I'm working with Amani, which means peace. Amani means peace. So that's how you can remember me. So I want to share with you what I'm doing and how actually I got involved with Amani. So I went to Wheaton College. I just graduated and got some Wheaton fans in the house. But there was the 6-month internship that some students can do, and so I got accepted, and they place you depending on your interest, your major. So my major was art therapy, and Amani does art therapy extremely well. So they placed me there. And so this is a picture of me with the women at Amani, Uganda. So I heard of Amani. I started working there. Amani became my family. They were there for me when I was homesick. I was in this new place where I didn't know anyone. I was by myself, and they were always there to comfort me, and they were caring. They were very funny. They loved to laugh, and if you know my parents, you know that our family, we really enjoy jokes and stuff. So I really felt at home. And so as I was coming and going between the different centers, I was offered a position there, and so I was thinking about it, and I decided that it was a really good opportunity, and so I ended up taking this position. So what is Amani Aju? Amani Aju is a nonprofit ministry. It is a place where they create jobs for marginalized women throughout Africa, and so what they're doing is Amani Aju has a very high standard in quality. As you can see, I have products in the back, and there's products in the cafeteria. You can see the quality of the products, but we're creating jobs for these women who come from all of these different countries. They are unable to speak the language initially. They don't know where they're living now. They are having a hard time getting around. They can't always get jobs easily because of work permits, papers, because they're fleeing from war. They're fleeing from conflict, all different situations. And so it's difficult for them to find a job. So we're offering this job. We teach them tailoring skills. We teach them business skills. And the goal is for them not to become dependent on Amani. The goal is for them to go through this 4-year program. It's like a school where they're learning these skills. They're going through the ministry program we have where we do Bible study. We do prayer in the morning, where it's a supportive, intentional community where all of these women have gone through similar backgrounds. The goal is after 4 years, they can go out. They become a vendor of Amani, and they can start selling these products they're making to Amani Aju, or they can become a leader within the program and start mentoring other women. They can teach them to sew. They can become a ministry mentor, or they can become like an office coordinator if they want. The goal is to get a better job, not to depend on Amani Aju. So it focuses on the ministry and the leadership aspect so that they can go out and spread peace. So Amani is based in Nairobi, where the national language is Swahili. So as I said, Amani Aju means peace from above in Swahili. And so Amani chose this name very intentionally so that we can constantly be reminded that God has to come first, that we're reminded that the ministry is only here through God's provision, and that we need to remain faithful to keeping Amani a ministry. It's a business, but it's also a ministry. And those are two very important parts of Amani. And then another thing is that it is a holistic business ministry. So I want to explain that, but first I want to explain ministry. So I found a definition by J.R. Briggs. He defines ministry as meeting people where they are at and taking them to where God wants them to be. So he says ministry is always relational. Faithful ministry isn't a project. So at Amani Aju, we focus on becoming a family where there's trust, there's peace, there's compromise, and there's love. And we want to make sure that we do not treat Amani as only a business, but that we're seeing the person as a whole, and we're looking at not just their immediate needs, but where a job provides that, but we're also caring for them emotionally and spiritually, and it's creating a place, a job field where women can come and may not normally hear about God because they don't have to be a Christian when they come to Amani. Amani is now able to focus on spiritually how an Amani lady is doing. So we have the opportunity to reach all of these marginalized women coming from different countries who haven't necessarily heard of God or have experienced that in a intentional community. And so now we're there and we're able to, the administration, the business, Amani being a business, the administration, we're able to share testimonies. We're able to model Christianity each day and share Christ through the devotions and through chapel. It's a very unique opportunity, being able to work in business because we're reaching people where a ministry might not be able to, because we're offering job opportunities. So as a holistic business ministry, we bring people in because of an initial need, which is usually a job, and journey with this person as a ministry, as a family, and provide more than just a purpose, but the gift of eternal life and an intentional community. So it's an awesome ministry. I love it. But I want to give a personal testimony. So I was there working with them for 6 months, and I was just there for a month too. This Simprosa is probably the person who was most impactful in my life while I was there. I spent the most time with her. She is an amazing person. She is originally from Uganda, and she is one of the older children of 11, and her dad left when they were young, and then her mom died at an early age too, so now Simprosa had to take care of her, all of her siblings. So when she wasn't going to school, she was working. When she wasn't going to school or working, she was working. So she was extremely busy, and she realized that this wasn't going to work. So she made the really hard decision to leave her country, leave her family, and try and find another job somewhere else. So that ended up being in Nairobi, Kenya, where she eventually met her husband. Her husband was a family friend, and so she got married to him when she moved. But the transition was really difficult, and she explains this too. It was hard. She couldn't speak the language for 2 years, although they speak English. Not knowing the native language is still really, really difficult. So she didn't have a stable job for the first year that she moved there. So she was relying a lot on her husband, which she had never done before. And so life was just hard, but her husband, who was working at Amani at the time, he was a maintenance person. He was constructing things as well. He got her a job. She became a seamstress. She was quilting, and she was very interested in business and how to run a business. And so she became a store manager, and she was working closely with the executive director. She eventually, this is a course of 10 years, so it's hard to explain her life. But she was doing this for 10 years. She was going through the leadership program. She wasn't a Christian initially coming to Amani, but she said that as she was going through this, God was preparing her heart, and she didn't know what exactly he was doing. She was learning business skills. She was learning how to sew. She was learning how to make all of these other products. And she was able to open her heart. She was able to forgive, learn peace in her life, as well as pass it on to others. And so once she learned this, she just felt she had a calling to go back to her country. So she knew that the women in her war-torn country, these young girls who were abducted and now don't have a job, they're unable to, they were in war, and so they didn't have education. Now they don't have any opportunities to take care of themselves or their family. So she wanted to go back, and what she learned from Amani, Kenya, she wanted to spread to her sisters and all of her people back in Uganda. So as she did that, she eventually, this was 3 years ago, she started Amani, Uganda, and now there's 19 women there. So she's now mentoring these women, and she's teaching them how to sew. She's creating more jobs for a different population, and she is just an amazing person. I've been continually impressed by her and her devotion to Amani, Uganda, and to her wanting to make better lives for the women there. Why am I working with Amani? So Amani Aju has and continues to be, in my eyes, an amazing business ministry. Simprose is only one of the women from Amani. There's been hundreds of women who have gone through this program, and they're just like her. Even have started other centers in different countries, and our goal is to continue growing Amani Aju. So as I was offered the job, I learned that Amani is under a restructuring process. They've been around for about 19 years, but they're going through a restructuring process in their ministry, in their in their procedures. They want to make sure that everything is standardized, and they want to make sure that we're able to effectively move to other countries so that we can easily grow. And so what I'll be doing through this restructuring process is I'll be working one-on-one with the managerial staff at the different African centers, and I'll take part in the various programs and ministries of Amani. So they have a kids program, which is like VBS, and then they have other ministry programs for the women that I'll get to help run and organize, and not just have it at one center, but bring that to all of the different centers so that everyone, as an Amani family, can be impacted. So through my passion for ministry and my heart for the marginalized women, I'll be able to connect with them and contribute through standardizing operations and contribute greatly to the growth and development and the sustainability of Amani. How will I do this? Amani Aju is not currently in the place where they can support their own missionaries, and so I'm going through a sending missionary organization, which is just another arm. They're like a partner with me, and they have a pastoral care couple that will come and visit me. They're able to handle my financial, all of the money that's coming in, and I'll have a steady paycheck through them. And so it's an ease of mind. It's takes a lot of pressure off of me with me going through commission to every nation. So now my biggest needs are obviously prayer. I have never been a missionary before, and I have never lived abroad. My plan is to live and work with Amani for the next 4 years. So I've never done that before in another country, and I've never also worked with Amani full-time before. So it's a lot of transitions, obviously, but I'm super excited and honored that I get to work with them. But my other biggest need is that I need committed supporters, because I'll be there for 4 years. I love one-time gifts, but I really need monthly supporters and annual donors. And my budget is about $3,000 per month, because I'll have to pay for an apartment. I'll travel to the different countries, groceries, transportation, all of these small things. So it is important that I can have committed supporters. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Lydia. And let me ask just a couple of quick questions, too, so that they're clear as well. You have some items from Amani, is that right? So that at our potluck out in the cafeteria, they can look at some of those things?
Yeah, and you can actually buy them if you'd like. I have some products just there with my prayer card and a support card, and I have more products that you'll see in the cafeteria.
Excellent. And this money is helping these ladies because it's going right back to this cottage industry that you're helping them develop.
As they make the products and it passes quality control, they are paid already. So you're supporting Amani through buying these products.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, because you said you get this paycheck from Commission for Every Nation, but where that money comes from for the paycheck is through supporters.
Yes.
And they send it to Commission for Every Nation because that's the sending agency that, because they're a 501c3, it makes it this ministry support so that you can get that charitable contribution. And with enough supporters, then you'll be able to do this full time.
Yes.
Excellent. Very good. Thanks, Lydia.